The front end of the average new American pickup now sits about 45 inches off the ground. That is chest height on roughly half the adults in this country. Analysts have put a number on what that change cost. Around 3,000 people killed over 9 years. Nobody voted for that. No engineer set out to do it. It came out of a rule about gas mileage. This is how a fuel economy formula ended up deciding where a truck hits you. Start with the part nobody thinks about. Not whether you get hit. Where? A low hood, the kind on a sedan, strikes an adult somewhere around the shins. That is below your center of gravity, so your legs stop and the rest of you rotates. You come up and over onto the hood. That sounds worse. It is better. A hood is a designed crush zone. There is empty space under it and sheet metal built to fold, and it is engineered to absorb a body. Now raise that same front end above the chest. The impact is above your center of gravity. Nothing rotates. You get pushed straight down in front of the vehicle onto the road. Asphalt absorbs nothing. And you are now under a moving vehicle instead of on top of one. Same speed, same driver, same person. The only thing that changed is the height of the metal. So how tall is tall? Here are the measurements. A typical sedan hood sits under 30 inches. A run-of-the-mill crossover is near 36. The average new pickup is around 45. 45 inches is 3 feet 9. That clears the head of a small child completely, and it sits above the center of gravity of anyone under about 5'6". In 2023, the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety checked that against real crashes. Nearly 18,000 of them, across almost 3,000 vehicle models, controlling for speed limit and for the age and sex of the person struck. Vehicles with hoods over 40 inches were about 45% more likely to kill the pedestrian they hit than vehicles at 30 inches or less with a sloping front, and shape counted on its own. In the middle band, 30 to 40 inches, a blunt vertical front was 26% deadlier than a sloped one. A flat hood, 25%. Height first, then angle. Now the part that explains it. American fuel economy rules used to work one way. Every car maker had a fleet average to hit. Build something big and thirsty, and you had to balance it out with something small and efficient. Starting with model year 2011, that changed. Targets became individual, and each vehicle got its own target based on its footprint. Footprint is a rectangle. Wheelbase multiplied by average track width. How far apart the wheels sit, front to back and side to side. Bigger rectangle, easier target. Read that again because it is the whole video. Under the old rule, size was a cost you had to pay for. Under the new one, size is relief. A longer wheelbase and a wider stance hand the manufacturer a lower bar to clear. Economists who modeled the formula found exactly the incentive you would expect. The rule was written to save fuel, and it was neutral about how. What it did in practice was make the small version of a truck the hard one to build. There's a second rule, and it is 62 years old. In 1964, in a trade fight over frozen chicken, the United States put a 25% tariff on imported light trucks. It was retaliation. It was meant to be temporary. It is still here. 25% is not a nudge, it is a wall. So a cheap small pickup built anywhere else is not worth importing. And a cheap small pickup built here still has to clear that model year 2011 mileage target, which for a small footprint is a high one. Now do the arithmetic a product planner does. The small truck is expensive to import, hard to certify at home, and thin on profit. The large truck is easier to certify and makes more money per unit. Around 2010 and 2011, the compact pickup quietly left the American market. The Ranger, the Dakota, the Explorer Sport Track, nobody banned them. They just stopped being worth building. Height does one more thing, and this one happens before the crash. Sit in a modern pickup, and the hood is a horizon. Everything below it is gone. That missing wedge in front of the vehicle is the forward blind zone, and it grew with the hood. Measured across 2 decades, the blind zone in front of a Chevrolet Silverado has close to doubled. A GMC Sierra and a Toyota Tacoma are up around 60%, an F-150 about 25%. And the sides got worse too, for a reason that also started as safety. In 2009, regulators upgraded the roof crush standard. A roof now has to hold 3 times the weight of the vehicle without collapsing. That strength lives in the pillars beside the windshield. So those pillars got thicker. A thicker pillar is a stronger roof in a rollover. It is also a wider column of nothing, exactly where a person used to be visible. So, back to the 3000. Where does it come from, and how much weight will it hold? In June 2026, the New York Times built a model out of federal crash records, federal fatality records, measured vehicle dimensions, and vehicle registrations going back to 2002. The finding: for every 1 inch of hood height, the odds that a struck pedestrian dies go up about 2.8%. Applied across the fleet, that is 200 to 400 extra deaths a year, and somewhere between 2,600 and 3,100 across 2016 to 2024. Now the honest part. That is a modeled counterfactual, not a body count. It answers exactly one question. What if hoods had stayed where they were in the early 2000s? Nobody counted 3,000 graves. It is also not the whole problem. It accounts for roughly 10% of the rise in pedestrian deaths. The other 90% is speed, road design, darkness, distraction, and how much we drive. And here's the thing the number does not say. Pedestrian deaths climbed for more than a decade, from about 4,300 in 2010 to a peak of just over 7,500 in 2022. The worst since 1981. Then in 2023, the climb stopped. Barely. 8 fewer deaths. That is the whole improvement. The fleet is still tall, and the climb has stalled, not reversed. So, what is actually being done? NHTSA has proposed a new federal standard. It would require car makers to test what the front end of a vehicle does to a human head on every passenger vehicle under 10,000 pounds. The agency's own estimate is 67 lives a year. Read what that is, carefully. It is a test of what the front end does to a head. It is not a limit on how tall the front end is allowed to be. And before you assume Europe solved this, Europe has crash tested for pedestrian protection since the late 1990s, with separate impactors for a child's head, an adult's head, and a leg. It works. It is also not a height cap. There is no European limit on hood height either. The average new car sold there went from about 30 inches in 2010 to about 33 in 2024, and safety groups are now asking for a cap by 2035. 2 continents, 25 years of pedestrian crash testing. Nobody has capped the height. None of this was a plot. That is the uncomfortable part. A fuel rule tried to save gas and made large vehicles cheaper to certify. A tariff from a fight about chicken kept the small ones out. A roof rule saved people in rollovers and thickened the pillars that block your view. Every one of those decisions was defensible on the day it was made. They just all push the same direction, and what they add up to is a front end that meets a person at the chest instead of the shins. Every figure in this video is federal crash data or a named analysis. All of it is linked in the description. Talk is cheap, numbers aren't.